So this is a quick walkthrough of accessing NASA EarthData using MATLAB in our 2i2c JupyterHub. So you can find this tutorial going to the NASA EarthData Cloud Cookbook and going down underneath tutorials, there's a MATLAB Access NetCDF tutorial here. And everything that I'm going to show you today is also documented here in this on this page. So to get started, the first things that we need to have are access to the hub, and that happens through being added to one of our 2i2c teams, and I'll add a link to the form for that. So you have to be added to the GitHub team to be able to access our hub. You also need to have an EarthData login, and then the third thing that you need to have is you need to have an online access to MathWorks and to MATLAB as part of your institutional account. So here you can see that I have access to MathWorks and to MATLAB through my account at University of Colorado. So with those three things, we can get started. So we will, I'll log out just so that we see the whole thing. So you come to the 2i2c hub login page, click on login, and you'll authenticate with GitHub. And then we want to start up an instance of MATLAB, and that instance should be no smaller than the 7.4 gigabytes version. So we'll pick that one and we'll click start, and this will take some time. So coming back up, we're here, quicker than I thought. So once you're in the JupyterHub, then you have several instances or several choices that you can make. You can access the command line here. You can run a MATLAB kernel in a Jupyter notebook, or what we're going to do today is open MATLAB in a new tab. So here we will open MATLAB, and I will authenticate, and then this will take just a few minutes. So while this is starting up, I will go back and show you the instructions here. So we've logged in, and each of the DACs has a different endpoint for their S3 access. So we've listed those here. And the next thing that we're going to do when MATLAB starts is we are going to create two files. We're going to create a function called load AWS credentials.m. This is a typo that needs to be corrected. So we will copy this, and then we will also create a startup.m file with our environment credentials. So we're going to do both of those things when MATLAB launches. Okay, so we can see now that we are in MATLAB, and we are going to create two new scripts. So this is our first script. Go back to go here, just copy, paste, and we'll save it. And we will call it load AWS credentials.m. So saved. And then we are going to make a startup.m file. We'll make a second file. We will copy this here and change this to your login and password. This. As startup.m. and we will run this. This, when you come back, you will not have to run this startup.m again. It will automatically, every time you start MATLAB from here on out, it'll start up. I'm going to make sure. I think I did this right. Okay. This is more details on the startup file. Yep, startup.m, if you need it. So heading back to MATLAB, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to set path, and I'm going to add my home directory as my path. Say OK. This will know to then look for this load AWS credentials function here. And so now I'm going to go back to the cookbook. Sorry for jumping back and forth. And we're going to look for one particular file from PODAC with this endpoint. And so we will copy this step 2. Go back to MATLAB. And load. Worked. Great. We've authenticated. And now we're going to actually access the file. So that worked. So now we have our file. And now we will check that we can access the file. So we're going to do H5 display or H5 disp. We have a little typo here. We'll change path to name. And here we can see our information about our file. So that's great. So now we're going to display our file. So we can use the MATLAB high-level HDF5 interface, which is a cloud-ready interface in MATLAB. We're going to bring in these variables, a bunch of H5 reads, and we will build our map. Too many tabs. Great. So here we can see our map that we drew from this file. So this is a single file access, authenticating with NASA EarthData. That was the login that you put in the startup file. With your startup credentials from EarthData, we can then get the secret AWS credentials, which change every 30 minutes. And then using the PODAC endpoint, we can then query our single file. So that walks us through the high-level interfaces. There's also low-level interface calls that you can do that are listed in this tutorial as well, but I'm not going to go through them here. So with that, we will stop. Thanks so much.